Because our next guest is giving us some insight into the world of cosmetic procedures, one we love.
That's right. Dr. Terry Dubrow is known for fixing bad plastic surgery on E's Botched. The show is in its 8th season.
Unbelievable.
10 years. Hear, hear. And here is a sneak peek at tomorrow's new episode.
You have to understand this ain't easy.
Yeah.
This is high risk. Taking apart the abdominal wall in someone who's had this operation, there will be very thin parts of the abdominal wall, or just below it, there will be intestines that could be injured, for sure.
After what you do, you work hard in everything you do. This is for you. And so I like that part.
Me too.
I like you doing something for yourself.
You certainly deserve it.
Yep, you deserve it.
Do you want to go ahead and do this operation and try to make this work for you?
Yes, I would love it.
You good?
Yeah, I think that's the way to go.
Yeah.
Look at that. Dr. Terry Dubrow. I'm tripping over my words because you were so handsome there, and now you're so handsome in front of us.
Liar.
Let me tell you something. There are some journalists out there who do. I am not one of them.
She doesn't lie.
It is such a pleasure to meet you.
It's so nice to be here and meet you guys.
We were just saying, we haven't seen the sun in about 12 days.
Yeah, but you've
The Angelino here, you see it.
You guys know how to do cold here.
And he's going at 65 degrees in LA. It's freezing.
It's freezing.
Well, I would take that in a hot second.
I would give my left leg to be freezing in 65 right now. The clip we showed,
Yeah.
relatively tame
Yes.
compared to some of the things that we see on this show. I've been watching this show for what feels like forever. I was like, it's not just been 10 years, but it had. I mean, is there ever a situation that's like, whoa, that catches you, the professional, like, gets you to the point where you're like, I don't know if I can do this?
It takes a lot at this point, but I will tell you, every season we say this is the most difficult season, like the most dramatic rose ceremony ever. But I will tell you, this season we took on cases that we passed on previously.
What?
Yeah. So cases that were just deemed too risky, or the tissue was too damaged, but we said, you know what, after getting the experience of all these years of doing botch with these skills, with this skill set, we took them all on. So cases you won't believe, really a lot of them are very tear-jerking. You've got to see this
Always.
season. It's fun, it's difficult.
I wonder why you took them on now as opposed to previously. Have you just learned more in your craft, or?
You know what, believe it or not, there's a reason they call it the practice of medicine,
Amen.
right? And the more you do of sort of impossible surgery, what was formerly impossible is now possible. What was formerly really hard is kind of easy. So we said, let's take on those cases we passed. So this is the sort of the greatest hits of the ones we turned down.
Greatest hits.
I mean,
like
where
that.
do we go from here? That's incredible. Can you talk to us a little bit about the origin story? What made you want to be a surgeon in the first place?
So I was sort of the kid that could like dissect the cat or look at bugs, and and to be able to use the math and science to help people, that's what attracted me to medicine. I actually went to med school to be a cardiac surgeon. Right, I was gonna be a heart surgeon because that was like the coolest, most intense thing. I'm kind of an intense guy and cool under pressure typically. But I met a plastic surgeon in my second year at UCLA Medical School, and he was this dynamic guy, and he said, this is the last true renaissance field in medicine. We do everything from head to toe, cancer, burns, cosmetic surgery, congenital deformities. So what's more attractive than that? So I said, I'm doing this. So I spent 7 years doing general surgery. Got board certified in general surgery, went right into UCLA's plastic surgery program, and here I am, the botched doctor. Yeah.
Look at you, it found you.
It found me. You know, if you're lucky, your passion meets your opportunity, and that's sort of what happened with me.
So talk to us a little bit about the patients. Do they find you? Do you find them? Is that casting department hard at work, or is it a little bit of both?
Well, at first it was, more challenging to cast the show.
Well,
because
it's new, right?
It was
like,
new.
what's Botched? What is this thing about?
Right. Now, so in the beginning, I think first season we had maybe 200, 300 applicants.
Okay.
Now we have sort of a pool of 10,000 people.
There's got to be like a
that want to come on the
list.
show. Yeah, can I come on Botched, But it's not easy coming on Botched because you have to expose all the complications you've had.
I cannot think of being in a more vulnerable state than being on that show. But the credibility has just skyrocketed. I mean, when you think of that line of work, you guys are who you think of.
Yeah, when you have an impossible situation, where are you going to go? And it's interesting because my practice changed from being sort of a regular plastic surgeon. Now I'm the botched doctor. So most of my practice is out of state, and a lot of that is out of country. People fly in from Europe, Brazil, Argentina. They've had 10 operations. We're their last hope.
Wow. Can we talk about Ozempic?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm obsessed.
Why?
These are miracle weight loss drugs.
Yeah.
You know, people are trying to figure out, because of the controversy, is it cheating? Is the side effects? Does it wear off? I'm telling you, this is going to change the game for the disease obesity. And it just turns off the appetite. It turns off the noise. I went on it to try it.
Right.
You know, I gained like 18 pounds. I went to Europe on a vacation. I came back. My stomach was stretched out. I was still hungry. I kept eating. And I said, you know what? All my patients are on it. I'm going to go on it. And there are some side effects.
Right.
You know, I actually stopped taking it after I lost the weight because I wanted to start eating again. But halfway into it, I thought, I don't care if I never eat again.
Really?
So, yeah,
Wow.
it really helps you control your appetite, but you have to learn how to do it. Don't buy it off the internet because
Please.
you want to get it by a doctor's
Yes.
prescription. Talk to them about side effects because there are side effects, but it is fantastic.
So did you take it more because you wanted to lose those extra 18 pounds, or did you know people and did you have patients who were taking it and you needed to understand sort of where their brain was?
Both. But I will tell you, if I ever feel like out of control, and because you know, obesity is a disease. It's a disease because we have all that food noise. Some people have more of it than others, and if you can sort of modulate that noise and turn off the appetite, or at least control it, you don't need to go on diabetic doses of it. Okay, you can go on a much lower dose. You can stay on a much lower dose, minimize the side effects, and it's nice to just be able to go zzz and turn off the stretch receptors telling you, feed me, when you're not really even hungry.
You bring up a good point, because we talk about Ozempic, I feel like, every single day, but we've never had the conversation with a medical doctor.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad you're here, for more reasons than one, but I never thought about it like that. Obesity is a disease. It's food, the connection there, it's all up here.
Yeah.
By the way, #1 risk factor for all 4 causes of mortality in this country: cardiovascular disease, cancer, neurodegenerative disease like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, and diabetes. So if you can cut the risk, the #1 risk of all those diseases, and get rid of the obesity, you're saving lives.
Can we go back to the side effects? Because you said there were many side effects.
So about 30% of people with these miracle weight loss drugs will have side effects. They are pretty minor, but they're like, you know, diarrhea, some nausea. The day after you inject it, like typically you do it on a Sunday night, right? Because Sunday night's my Ozempic night. So you inject it, teeny little needle. The next day you're walking around kind of going, not only do I not feel like eating, I'm a little, you know, nauseous. That wears off during the week, but you can't drink alcohol because you will get sicker than you've ever been.
Wow.
And some of my patients have gone in the hospital with pancreatitis because of it. They got it off the internet. They never talked to a doctor about how to use it. And this is interesting. When you normally diet, right, with diet and exercise, 75% of what you lose is fat and 25% is lean muscle. When you go on these drugs, 50% loss is lean muscle. So you need to increase your protein and you need to work out if you're going to be on
Well, he looks
these.
like he's been in the gym.
I know.
I work out. I'm
So
a California
svelte.
guy, you know. That's what
It's
we
a way of
do.
life
Right?
out there.
It's a
All
way
that
of life, you
sunshine.
know.
One more question on Ozempic. How long did you feel, were the results instantaneous? How long did it take you to see anything?
This is the other thing, shockingly fast. I'm convinced if you go on a regular diet, let's say 1,500 calories a day, you'll lose this amount of weight. If you go on these Ozempic drugs and eat the same amount, you'll lose faster and more. I don't know why. We're just trying to figure out physiologically why, but it's very fast. I lost 18 pounds, and some people say this isn't healthy, but it just is what it is, in 6 weeks.
Holy smokes. Now, you are a physician.
I am.
You took the Hippocratic Oath.
I did.
I know that you and one, Jillian Michaels, have sort of
Yep.
sparred
Yep.
through the periodicals that
We
be.
did.
What is the end game for you there?
So, you know, it's a drug.
Yeah.
And we're talking about a medical problem, a disease. So, I mean, she's very obviously trained in fitness and exercise, but if diet and exercise alone was the key, there wouldn't be an obesity pandemic, right? So, my view is this is a serious medical issue. Let's sort of leave it in the hands of the physicians.
Of the physicians. Okay, I get it.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
I feel like it's the right thing to give someone a shout out.
I know. Before we let you go, we got to give your wife a shout out.
Yeah, she's
part of the
here
Real
with me.
Housewives.
Yeah.
How much do you support her in that endeavor?
I'm married to her. I love her. She's fabulous. I support her no matter what. But, you know, it's not easy doing that show.
I cannot imagine.
You can't even imagine what it's like. But I can tell you, they're shooting the new season. It's wow. It's just a wow. Just wait. Try not to pay attention to all the rumors in the media.
Please.
Most of them are not accurate, but it's going to be a wow season. And I'm glad I'm not a housewife. By the way, tough enough to be a house husband, okay? I wouldn't recommend it.
Here.
Oh my God.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's so
a great
wonderful
way
talking
to
to you
start
guys.
Next time you come, bring that son with you, because we could use some here.
I promise I will.